Hi, this is Mark Spoonhour with Laptop Magazine, and we're here with the HP Compaq Mini Note PC. And we're sort of calling it internally the rich man's low-cost laptop because it offers a lot more than the competition. Starting with this really sleek all-aluminum casing, which is really durable. Now, this device was manufactured, it's being designed for the education market, but it has a lot of crossover appeal, and we're about to show you why, especially with mobile professionals. So you open this thing up and you get a pretty large 8.9-inch display, and you can see that the resolution is relatively high. It starts at 1280, and there's a lot of desktop real estate. I'm going to give you a tour of the rest of this, but one of the other really important highlights is the full-size keyboard. So full size in this case means 92%, but it's a huge difference compared to other mini notebooks like the EPC because you really get a full typing experience. So the no-look typing is really important for any notebook, but I think it's really appreciated for something like this. And if you could look really closely above the display, you'll see a VGA webcam. It's almost hidden here. And to the left and right of the display, you have the built-in speakers. So you have stereo speakers on a device this size. Give you a quick tour of the rest of the device. Starting underneath the keyboard, we have a relatively good touchpad. It's nice and wide, and you have a built-in scroll zone over here. And flanking the touchpad area, you have two touchpad buttons, or two mouse buttons. This arrangement is a little bit awkward for us, and it's not quite a deal breaker, but it's something you're definitely going to have to get used to. And I think for the most part, you're going to be doing a lot of clicking just on the touchpad itself. So let's start with some of the other design features. On the left-hand side, you have a VGA port, which is good for hooking up to a full-size display, or presentations if you're giving PowerPoints on the road. See a little fan here. We did notice that in our tests so far that the bottom of the unit gets a little bit warm, but not disturbingly so. You also have a powered USB port that could be used for optical drives, as well as a headphone and mic jack. Up front you have two pretty cool lit buttons. One is for power, one is for toggling the Wi-Fi connection, and in terms of wireless you have 802.11 ABG Wi-Fi as well as Bluetooth, but you have Bluetooth for the higher end model, and ours starts at this particular configuration is a pretty steep 749, but we'll go through the specs in a little bit. On the right hand side is another really welcome feature. You have a express card slot that you can add a mobile broadband card in, so this could be a really nice machine for bloggers as well as anyone that wants to do work on the road and doesn't want to hunt for a hotspot. You also have an SD card slot, which is really nice for swapping in pictures from your digital camera. The second USB port over here, Ethernet, and power. So you might notice the little bit of a bulge on the bottom of this system, and that's because we have the 6-cell battery. The standard battery is 3-cell, but with the 6-cell you're going to get 4 hours of battery life, which isn't a lot, but so for us this is sort of a necessary option that people should be splurging for. We're going to try to get final pricing on that later. So that's it for the physical design. One other thing that's kind of cool is that the keyboard itself has a DuraKey finish, which means that over time, even if you're pounding on this a lot, there won't be a lot in the way of wear and tear. So as far as the specs go, we have a 1.6 gigahertz VIA processor, and in our test a lot of the our applications are open pretty quickly, and we've had a pretty good time web surfing on this because of the high resolution of the 8.9-inch panel. You also get, with this particular configuration, a 120 gigabyte hard drive running at 7,200 RPMs, which for us is a little bit of overkill. We would definitely go with maybe the same size running at 5,400 RPMs, or maybe even a smaller size, just so you can save on price, but also battery life, because again, you're getting 4 hours here. We have to complete our tests, but definitely don't necessarily need 7,200 RPMs on a system that's really meant more for content delivery as opposed to content creation. We also have 2 gigabytes of RAM, which I think is welcome, especially for a system that's running, in this case, Vista Business. But there are going to be other options for operating systems. You're going to have Vista Basic at the low end on the Windows side, but there's also going to be a $499 configuration of this particular system that's going to be running Linux. The trade-off there for that system, even though you're getting a really affordable cost in the range of the EPC, you're gonna be saddled with 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'm sorry, a 4 gigabyte SSD drive. So you're not going to have a lot in the way of storage. But we think overall that the Windows system is going to sell a lot better, just because it's a more mainstream OS. But we definitely would like to see the Linux system once that comes through. So that's pretty much it for this particular look at the HP Compaq Mini Note 2133. We'll be putting this system through our paces, and we are going to bring you our test results very soon.